Hey there. Hope you've been doing well. And today we're going to be talking about Navionics versus Cmap on Kentucky Lake. I'm going to take you directly onto the two of my graphs there. I'm going to have one with Cmap, one with Navionics. And I'm going to show you what they look like, compare them. We'll start at the dam, work our way down. And it was something I was going back and forth with on one of the Bass Opens earlier this year. I couldn't decide which one I liked more. So I'm going to show you. This will help you hopefully figure out what you want to use. And maybe if you're making that decision which one to get, this will make you decision at ease, I guess. So I'm going to flip you around. We'll look at that. I'll show you some settings, how to adjust it, and that sort of thing too. So hopefully this gets you all dialed in. All right. Thanks. All right, so we're going to start with the Navionics on the left, and then we got the Cmap on the right. So let's start with the Cmap. I am not currently there, so you could see it's for whatever. It shows it being 730 or 727 miles away, which is how far that is. If you went directly from my house there, which you cannot do because you got to take roads. But let's get started, and we'll work through things. So basically, we're going to start with what it looks like. This is the Cmap on board. So if you go menu, more options, you can see Cmap on board is where you can select. There's some other options here. I have a Navionics chip in there, and I also have that one Cmap, which I believe is the Southeast. I have to look at that one, but I don't think that let's see. Yeah, one does not do Kentucky Lake. So we're going to do Cmaps on board. We're going to go back, and let's just first go over the settings. I'll do over the settings of both Navionics and Cmap, so you can kind of see how to adjust some things. I always have my orientation north up. You can adjust that however you like, but let's see, chart options, and then we're gonna go down to shading. So this is where we get this nice blue and orange and red and everything you want it to look like white. So that's just depth one. So you can set these to two different ones. So if you take that off, you can see it just turns it all blue. You turn that back on, you get that shallow water in red, orange, yellow, green, and it gets deeper as it gets blue. So that's kind of how they change that one. If you go back to depth 2, let's see, that's the color they have it. So those are both presets. I like the depth one. I use that a lot. If you were trying to dial this into the next level, you would hit custom, and here you can actually change it everywhere you want it to be. So you could hit on here. So red is 0 feet. So leave that as okay. If you wanted to go out to 3 foot as, let's see what color we want to do that. We'll do that as, we can do that as orange. We'll leave that as same. We'll do out to orange. And then we want to set this to 5 foot is going to be yellow, or let's go pink, or something that's going to really show up. And then we're going to say out to 10 foot. We'll do that green. And this is really just, if you know you're fishing in, say, 5 to 10 foot, you're going to have that color. It's going to really pop and show you exactly what it is. Or maybe you're fishing out in, say, 40 foot is the sweet spot, and you want to make sure you're fishing that area. Let's go with that. We'll go with that teal color. How about that? And then that one will have to change just to a random blue. So the blue will be deepest. We can see the red shallow, kind of working our way out. And that is going to be now depth 1. So we can hit the X menu, and we go to more options, chart options, shading, and you can see that's now depth 1. So we changed that all up. We can zoom in. We can see that pink we got there. It kind of really pops out there. We got that greenish color, gets deeper out here. So that really just kind of shows you where those big flats are. It makes it super easy to see that. Yeah, so that's kind of the gist of what you got going on there, and how you can adjust those shading patterns. Let's go back more options one more time. And we got, that was under shading. So we can take that off. Go back and forth. You can custom change it again. What else do we want to show you? Depth palette. Let's see what that. I'm not even sure, to be honest, what this one is. Safety shading is an interesting one there. If I can get to click on that again. You do that out to 5 foot. And you can see it kind of gives you that a little bit of color out there. And then you get back. All right. So then we're going to go over to the Navionics. This you can also adjust. So let's go here. More options, chart options. This one I've used a long time, so I'm very familiar with this one. So shading, you can see you can do that. I personally don't. I'm not a big fan of the shading. It kind of like makes it roll and stuff like that. Fishing range. This is what I really like to do. So say we're talking, those fish are in 5 to 15 foot. Let's adjust this down. That's going to turn everything in 5 to 15 foot in white, like you can see there. Now let's say they're actually like 5 to 10 foot. We can even narrow that down a little bit more, banking that off, get that to 5 to 10, back to 12. So 5 to 12 is going to be white. That's our fishing range. Next, we're going to adjust shallow water, which this here. So we're going to go out to 4 foot. What this does is puts those red dots out there. So you'll see them starting to come up if we get deeper. See that there? All those red dots. So if you know the lake's down, maybe you got to set the 10 foot. But if it's at normal pool, set the 5, you know you're not going to hit anything that's in red. So you can see the back of pockets are red. Maybe we got some points here. You don't want to drive over that. That sort of stuff. So that's pretty cool. I really like that. When you use Navionics, this is the Navionics Plus app. So basically what you have to do is you buy this and then you get a year subscription. And then after that, you have to keep updating it. You also have to download this for each lake that you go to. So it's a little bit more of a pain from that aspect, but it is, I really like some of the features that it has. So let's go back, chart options. This is kind of cool. You can turn that on and off. So if you turn that off, hang on, that's not the right one. That was not what I was looking for. Contours. You can turn them off to 30. So anything over 30 foot, you don't see. Anything over 60 foot, you don't see, or you can have all your contours. So I usually turn it to 60 because anything over 60 foot, for the most part, I don't really care about when I'm bass fishing. The next one, what did I want to show you then, was the sonar chart. So it's going to come, and that is what your chart is going to look like for Kentucky Lake down by the dam, which it has some contour lines, but it does not have everything. And what is needed to do, I think community ed's usually off too when you get it. When you update the chart, the card, you're going to plug that into your SD unit right here, your micro SD, put that in there. You're going to select it under, let's go back to that real quick just so you see it. That was, wrong one. That's back home. More options. You're going to click it under Navionics. So once you have it under Navionics, you're going to go to chart options. You're going to turn sonar chart on. That's going to give us all of our super detailed pictures, and you hit community edits, and it gives you a little bit more. Depends on the lake. Some have more, some have others, less than others. But that kind of gives you the different settings and breakdown. So right now we have it set to, what was it? Fishing range was 5 to 12 foot. So that's going to be all white. Let's make it even a little bit wider range. Let's go 5 to 15. And then let's go back over here. And I want to, oops, wrong button. Clear cursor, more options. And then we're going to go to Cmap on board. I want to just make the, what we were talking about earlier, depth 1 to custom. Let's make it from 5 foot to 15 foot. I want to do all of it as one color. That way we can compare them. And that'll all be in pink. And that one we got to turn to like 30. We'll get that out a little deeper. All right, so now that we got that set up, so from 5 foot to 15 foot is going to be pink. That's the same as our fishing range over here. So now we can see everything. We kind of compare it apples to apples. We'll start down here just right at the dam. You can kind of see where it shows those contour lines. So here we can see you got this point here comes out. We got this little subtle guy here. And then if you go over here, we got some similar setups. It might pop a little bit better actually on this Cmap, which is kind of nice. You can see some of those drained where the ledges are. that sort of thing. And it shows up very, very clear. All the contour lines, you can see it as we work our way down. You can kind of keep scrolling. Let's go down a little bit. Let's go to one of these areas. Actually, let's go over. So you got the bars down there. So let me zoom out so you can orient yourself. We got Bear Creek right here. Then we got these bars here that's got some stumps and whatnot out there on them. So you can see that. And then we're gonna go zoom out on this guy. And you can see that one as well. So there's both of these for Kentucky Lake are pretty good. Nothing crazy that you're missing, but it comes down a lot to how do you see the unit, how do you want to use it. Some features that the Navionics has, you can click on it. There's buildings. It shows there must have been an old town right there, a church. It's got all the submerged bridges and that sort of stuff on here. So it gives you a lot of detail from that point of view. And then if you come over here, that same area, it's got some foundations here. It doesn't show quite as many, but maybe one's more accurate than the other. I haven't actually idled out there to look to see what's there for real. This one's kind of cool. It's got something that says fishing ground. You can click on that. It'll give you some information about it. Maybe old foundation roadways, that sort of thing. You can, I guess there's sauger in there, catfish, that sort of thing. And you can kind of look around the lake and it gives you more of this. So if you've never been to Kentucky Lake before, you're looking for some things and information to go based off of, that helps you. In the back here, we'll see what that one says. It shows stumps back there, which can be good. Let's see if we come over this one. This guy will not show that, I don't believe. Now that one doesn't show anything like that. So they both have their advantages and disadvantages and what you want to use it for. They both show a road bed going across back in there, but you kind of have to pick and choose what you want to use, or you got to have both, which is what I do. I usually use both, especially when I'm at home. I will sit down and I'll really do some map study, and I'm going to mark waypoints and stuff like that when I'm trying to figure out where I want to go and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, that gives me an idea. There's some stumps here. There's a road bed here. If it shows a road bed on both of them, chances are it's actually there. A lot of times you'll get all this like real detailed stuff, and you look over here and there's nothing on there. It may or not be there. It just really depends. But that's kind of the overview of the Cmap on Kentucky Lake. If you have any questions about it, happy to answer them for you. I'll just keep zooming down here a little bit until we get down to, I don't think I went past Paris yet, but that'll kind of show you what it looks like. Some ideas to get you started and try to base it off what you're getting. The Cmap on board, it comes with the HGS units, or the HGS Pro units for sure. I don't know if the Lives had it too or not, but they're both very useful. You can adjust them how you want, let you see things how you want, and they're very adaptable. And there's plenty more they actually probably do too that I don't use as much, but that's what I like to look at when I'm doing it, and give you how I set mine up for the average lake I'm going to. If you want to keep going down, you can keep seeing this. I'll go take us all the way down to Paris again, and that'll help you hopefully decide which unit is best for you, or which mapping system. I think the mapping for this guy here is, I think it costs $100 a year if I remember right. You can actually look and see, because I have two of them. I have one for you can see the U.S. South Lakes, Rivers, Coastal Marine, and then I have the East Lakes. I believe this guy, Kentucky Lake, is this one right here is the one you need. And then the one I use back home and along the East Coast is that guy. So this one is active till May 31st next year, or this year actually. I know we got a couple more, another month or so with that one. And then this one is good through February of this year because I bought this one this season. So hopefully that helps you. If you have any questions, let me know, put them in the comments below. If you have another lake you want to see, I'm happy to jump on and show you this for your lake back home. good chance I have the map for, well, you saw the one I have the Navionics map for, and the Cmap I should have everywhere. But appreciate you watching. If you have any other questions, let me know, and we'll talk to you again soon. Have a great day. See ya.